Hello. Today we're going to be talking about the importance of owning your story for the purposes of college admissions and scholarship applications, how to get the writing process started, and some tips to keep in mind as you share your story. As you start submitting applications for colleges and scholarships, you're telling these organizations and institutions that you want them to consider you based on the information that you're turning in. Many times your grades, test scores, involvement with extracurriculars, job history, and volunteering, as well as your goals and future plans will all be considered. They are looking for students who will actively strive for their goals and be an asset for their institution. But sometimes colleges and scholarships will come across students who have similar profiles and have to make a decision on who to admit. Or they'll run into students who show dedication and potential, but whose record might make them a little difficult to admit. The numbers on transcripts and resumes aren't always able to explain themselves. If a student is working, they may not have time to study for all their tests. Maybe a student is struggling in classes because they have trouble understanding the homework, but aren't able to get any help. Maybe a student didn't have time to participate in extracurriculars because they had to take care of a family member. So the question is, what makes people stand out from the crowd? What can help explain the differences in grades and test scores? And what makes you stand out? And the answer is everything. From the moment that you were born, you became the main character in your story. No one has lived their lives and had your experience the way that you have. Even for people growing up in the same house, and for people who have been through similar or even the exact same situation as you, the way that you experienced it, thought about it, and handled it is going to be completely different from the person next to you. Your dreams and the obstacles you've overcome is completely unique to you. By taking ownership of your story and your experiences, you are creating your future. You're saying, this is who I am, and here is who I want to be. Colleges, scholarship, future jobs and internships, and even people that you meet, that is what they're looking for. People with stories to tell and people who are going to work towards their goals. Sometimes my students will tell me, I don't have anything to talk about, or my story isn't important. And I say that they're wrong. The fact that you're here means that you have overcome obstacles, that you've set goals and sometimes failed and sometimes succeeded. It means that you've tried new things and met new people, and all of that means that you have stories to tell. Any story can become a great story with time, revision, and thought. You have a lot to share. They'll also tell me that they don't know how to get started with writing, so we're going to go over some ideas to help you if you're in the same situation. The first step is to look at the prompts so you can see exactly what's being asked of you. By looking at the prompts, it might be easy for you to think of a topic that responds directly to it. For example, here are the prompts for the Apply Texas application and the Common application for college admissions. You can see that they're asking you about your obstacles that you've overcome, who you are, and who you want to be. Now, sometimes these questions can be hard to answer, so we're going to look at some brainstorming activities. If you know what you want to say but don't know how you want to say it, it might help just to start putting words and thoughts to paper. You can write down literally whatever you're thinking, or make a timeline of stories you want to tell, and you can even draw it out and then put words to it later. The great thing about free writing is that once you have something written down, you have something to edit. And sometimes from that editing, you might get a few good lines or a good paragraph that can set up the foundation for the rest of what you're writing. So carry around a notebook, use the Notes app on your phone, or consider using a cloud service like Google Drive or OneNote so that you can add it to it wherever you are. Another idea is to work with others to draw out a story you want to tell. You can just talk it out and bounce ideas off each other. Or try something like rephrasing the prompt into a question. For essay topic A, you can ask, what is the most difficult part of high school? Or what has been your greatest accomplishment? And as you answer that question, consider recording yourself or have someone write down key points in what you're saying. Then as you review, you might find exactly what you want to write about. Now this next activity is something that was presented at SAISD a few years ago by Joaquin Zihuatanejo of CoolSpeak. It's a list activity, so get your phone or get a timer, and you can pause the video as we're going through this in case you want to do it right now. So we're going to be making lists. The first list is going to start with people. Write down the numbers 1 to 5, set a timer for 60 seconds, and name the 5 most influential people in your life. They could be family, friends, celebrities. It could be a positive or negative influence. There are no rules. Once that's done, set another timer for 60 seconds and write down a word or phrase you associate with each person. The second list is places, and we're going to do the same thing. Number 1 to 5, set a timer for 60 seconds and write 5 places that are important to you. Places you like to go, somewhere you want to visit, etc. Now, after that, set another timer for 60 seconds and write a phrase, word, or detail for each place. The next list is credo, which is a statement of belief. So write down 1 to 5, and for each number, write down, I believe. Now give yourself 60 seconds to write down 5 beliefs. Give yourself another 60 seconds to write down a phrase or detail about each belief. The next list is someday. These are things that you want to accomplish in your lifetime. This time, give yourself 90 seconds to write down these 5 goals. And finally, ages. Give yourself another 90 seconds, and this time you're going to write down 3 ages where something happened and it greatly impacted you, as well as a detail, phrase, or word about each. Now, what tends to happen is that people start making connections between the different lists. Maybe someone in your people list influenced your beliefs, or something at one of your age milestones happened that helped you set your goals. All of those connections, everything that you've written down, has the potential to become a story for you to write. So in closing, owning your story gives you power. It informs who you are, where you want to go, and it makes a difference, especially when you're looking to stand out. Here are some things to keep in mind. Any story can become a great story with time, thought, and revision. It's all about how you write and tell it. Only share what you're comfortable with. As humans, we have to overcome great obstacles and experience hardships, but you are not obligated to share that with anyone. You have ownership of the story you want to tell. And because you have ownership, you have the final say in what's submitted. Make sure it's work that you're proud of. Believe in yourself and trust in your experience. Make sure that you're answering what is being asked from you. These institutions want to see your writing skills and who you are, but also that you can read and understand directions. Start early. Writing isn't everyone's strong suit, and even if it is, you want to have time for feedback and revision. Be mindful of the deadlines. Remember that your story is powerful and it makes a difference, so take ownership of your experience. Thank you so much for taking some time to watch and listen. I hope that you learned some new strategies or some things to help you out as you go about your own writing process. This is my contact information, so if you ever have any questions, want someone to help you brainstorm or read over your essay, I am just a phone call or email away. Thank you again. Have a great day and stay well.